find you.
In their hometown of Wenatchee, a large crowd gathered at a vigil tonight to grieve and honor the young victims. Meantime, authorities are answering the question so many are asking tonight. Why didn't they issue an Amber Alert? Our complete coverage starts right now.
When there's a child that's missing, we move heaven and earth.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Tonight, the search intensifies for the father accused of murdering his 3 children in Chelan County. The girls were last seen in Wenatchee on Friday evening. According to the sheriff's office, the search ended in tragedy when the bodies of 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia Decker were found just outside of Leavenworth. Court documents show they likely died by asphyxiation. Police say they also found zip ties and plastic bags strewn throughout the area. Tonight, police are searching for this man, 32-year-old Travis Decker. Authorities issued an endangered missing person alert for the girls on Saturday after they say the sisters were not returned following a planned visitation with their dad. Tonight, he is wanted on 3 counts of first-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping. The Chelan County Sheriff spoke directly to Decker during a press conference just hours ago.
Travis, if you're listening, this is your opportunity to turn yourself in. Do the right thing, do what you need to do, and take accountability for your actions. We're not going to go away, we're not going to rest, and we're going to make sure we find you.
Decker is wanted on 3 counts of first-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping. Police do not know if he's currently armed, but may still pose a significant threat, they said. Now the loss of these little girls is hitting the city of Wenatchee especially hard. Tonight, hundreds gathered in downtown Wenatchee, where the community held a candlelight vigil. Many shared memories of the girls. It was a difficult night for many in that crowd, including the kids. Several of them played sports or took part in other activities with the girls. New court documents show the Deckers were battling over custody of the 3 children before they went missing. According to those documents, Travis Decker is a troubled Army veteran who became homeless after his divorce. Whitney Decker told police her ex-husband was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder at the end of their marriage, but had never been violent. A new custody plan allowed Travis to see his kids every other weekend with no overnight stays. Since Decker had custodial rights, the State Patrol said it initially did not consider this an abduction. Whitney also told police Decker had never been late for dropping their kids off. In an effort to bring you more to every story following this case, one of the big questions is, why did it take so long before any sort of alert was issued? KREM 2's Christian Garza in the newsroom tonight with more on what Washington State Patrol takes into consideration before sending out an alert.
Yeah, Mark. Well, the answer is simple. Amber Alerts are a federal program with criteria set through the Department of Justice, meaning when a report comes through, if it doesn't meet that set criteria, then the state's hands are tied. After Monday's gruesome discovery.
We don't know the timeline now. We don't know when this evil act occurred.
Chris Loftus, the Director of Public Affairs with Washington State Patrol, is now trying to answer questions circulating online and across the state surrounding what was done when Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker, all under 10 years old, were initially reported missing last Friday to when their bodies were found this week. Court documents show the bodies were found 100 feet near their father Travis Decker's truck, with zip ties and plastic bags being recovered near the scene.
The entire process, there was a continual conversation and an expansion of coverage and focus. Unfortunately, however, and we don't know what the timeline of the situation. We don't know when the children were killed. But once we have that, we'll be able to say, hey, are there any lessons we can learn here?
Of the 5 required criteria for an Amber Alert, Loftus says this case specifically failed to meet 2 of those criteria. The first was reason to believe an abduction had occurred, and the second was known danger of bodily harm or death.
We had no reason to assume differently. And if we start assuming that every time a custodial parent is late bringing a child home, that there's an abduction or there's possible homicide afoot, we're going to be sounding so many alerts that they become noise very quickly and they don't become the signal that we needed them to be.
Loftus says all these reports across the state go through a missing and unidentified persons unit to see if it meets the criteria before it's escalated to an Amber Alert. A day after the initial Amber Alert request, WSP issued the Endangered Missing Persons Alert, or EMPA, which acts as a catch-all alert for anyone who can't help themselves. The main difference between the Amber Alert and the EMPA is that the EMPA won't send those ringing mass notifications.
In this case, We did everything we could do, and we still have this horrible outcome caused by the evil of a person, not because of a failure of a system.
Loftus says so far this year there have been 3 Amber Alerts and 16 EMPAs. The manhunt for the girl's father, Travis Decker, is still underway. Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
This is a rapidly developing story. We'll have any new developments starting early tomorrow morning on Up with KREM, as well as on our website, KREM.com. Tonight, Spokane Valley City Council voted against a settlement with one of its own council members. The city filed a public records lawsuit against Al Merkel over his use of social media. Merkel was asking the city to dismiss the lawsuit and cover his legal fees and for an independent review of his social media. Tonight, the council declined, and now a lawsuit's in the works. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy was at tonight's meeting and tells us what happened.
A city spokesperson tells me as of March 11th of this year, Spokane Valley's paid roughly $180,000 in legal fees regarding Councilmember Merkel's current investigation so far, and now those costs are only going up.
There he is, he's doing it right now. He's not the mayor.
Tensions raised at Spokane Valley's City Council meeting. The hot topic, Councilmember Al Merkel's proposed settlement in an investigation against him. The city's investigated Councilmember Merkel for the past several months, alleging his use of the social media platform Nextdoor for city business on his personal account.
That exposes the city to substantial risk of liability under the Public Records Act, which carries with it attorney's fees, penalties, attorney's fees and costs, as well as exposes the city to damages.
City Attorney Kelly Conkright presented the information to council members. Councilmember Merkel argues he's complied with the city in handing over all the information to make his social media on city business public. In the meeting, Councilmember Merkel asked for the lawsuit's dismissal, the city to cover his legal fees, and an independent person to review his social media. That request proved unsuccessful.
I'm not surprised about any of this. Once again, this council has the opportunity to do the right thing, to put an end to a frivolous and politically motivated lawsuit.
The city estimates paying $350,000 in legal services for this investigation going to court. That money comes from the general fund, which includes sales and property taxes. That $350,000 would be taken out of salaries and benefits for public safety department staff and 2 new police cars. Mayor Pam Haley says while an expensive cost, it is necessary for the city and the taxpayer.
This is not a settlement offer. This is an offer to try to get attorney's fees paid. You, the citizens of Spokane Valley, should not have to pay his attorney's fees.
Now the matter is being taken to Spokane County Superior Court. That court date is July 18th. In Spokane Valley, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
New tonight, Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown announced a new proposal to invest more than $700,000 into opioid recovery services. To date, the city of Spokane has allocated close to $2.5 million in opioid settlement dollars to various opioid-related services. The biggest investment, $400,000, will be to start up a program to help people living outside who are suffering opioid addiction or at risk of it find housing options. Another $300,000 go towards Maddie's Place, a Spokane emergency nursery helping families with newborns suffering from withdrawals.
We need to stop the suffering that has been caused by the opioid and fentanyl crisis and other addictions and substance use.
Tonight's announcement comes as Spokane's right in the middle of Gabriel's Challenge, started by mom Katara Johnson-Jones as a response to the city's drug crisis. She lost her son to fentanyl earlier this year. That challenge ends on Father's Day. All right, taking a break from the headlines, let's switch gears to take our first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. He is joining us from the Outdoor Weather Center, where it's not a bad night tonight. Jeremy?
Mark, by any means, it is not a bad night. It is mild outside, not too cold, not too warm, and just about a perfect night to catch some Z's. All of our moisture in North Idaho is starting to wind down, and as you zoom out, you can see it moved through quite quickly, but out to our west still sits that ridge of high pressure. That's just going to sit out there. We're not quite getting it to move in just yet, but we're still warming up. It's a slow, steady climb in temperatures. Tomorrow morning, we're waking up to the upper 40s. A little bit warmer than this morning, a few degrees warmer. And tomorrow afternoon, we climb into the upper 70s. A little bit warmer than today. It's a slow, steady increase in temperatures each and every day. Tomorrow winds up a little warmer and a little sunnier than today. Thursday, even warmer and even sunnier, high of 81. 84 on Friday, and as we head into the weekend, we are very well looking at what could be our warmest days so far this season, and we've already topped out near 90.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. Don't go to bed just yet. Federal layoffs are fueling concerns about wildfire season. But first, new details about Northport's superintendent who unexpectedly passed away, what we know, and how a small business is working to help.